Right now, the universe is opening a door that only appears once a year. November 8 carries the energy of 888, a code of infinite abundance, flow, and deep alignment with cosmic rhythms. Few moments in a lifetime offer such a rare opportunity to reset the inner compass and awaken hidden potentials that have been quietly waiting. In this video, you will discover how this powerful portal can amplify your personal power through subtle, conscious choices. You'll learn ancient Shaolin principles that reveal why stillness is stronger than action, how disciplined practice turns fleeting energy into lasting mastery, and why micro moments hold the keys to transformation that most overlook. These are teachings that have guided warriors and sages for centuries, quietly shaping destinies in ways unseen by the untrained eye. We will uncover lesser-known aspects of the 888 energy, how it interacts with the body, mind, and spirit, and why tuning into these rhythms can bring clarity, liberation, and a sense of flow that feels almost magical. You will see why this isn't just another date on the calendar, but a profound invitation to step into alignment with forces far greater than yourself. Stay with me until the end, because the insights I will share could shift the way you approach your life, your choices, and your inner growth. This is more than guidance. It's a blueprint for stepping fully into your highest potential. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you are ready to awaken, explore, and master the subtle power within, subscribe now and join our journey toward clarity, strength, and the quiet mastery that transforms everything. There are doors that cannot be seen with the eyes, thresholds that exist beyond the reach of ordinary perception. The 888 quantum portal is one such passage, a subtle, energetic current that flows quietly, waiting for those who are awake enough to sense it. It does not announce itself with fanfare or light. It reveals its presence to the still and attentive, to the one who watches without haste. In Shaolin practice, mastery is not about brute force or dramatic displays. It is about learning to perceive the invisible, to recognize the moments when the ordinary folds into the extraordinary. The portal teaches that reality is layered, that life's most profound shifts often arrive in whispers rather than roars. When you learn to feel these thresholds, you begin to move through them rather than stumble blindly, guided not by desire or fear, but by clarity and awareness. Each step into the portal is a reflection of your inner readiness. A distracted mind will pass it by, unheeding. A restless spirit may resist the flow and feel the opportunities slip away. But the one who practices patience, who cultivates the calm and attentive mind, finds that these subtle thresholds respond. Energy opens, consciousness expands, and what once seemed impossible becomes available. The Shaolin masters have always taught that the external world mirrors the internal. To enter a portal is first to prepare within, to balance thought, intention, and presence. It is a quiet act of alignment, aligning the body with breath, the mind with focus, the spirit with its own innate wisdom. Step lightly, observe fully, and in that stillness, the portal's energy does not simply pass by, it invites you in. This is the nature of the quantum doorway, unseen yet potent, silent yet transformative, present for those who cultivate awareness and honor the subtle rhythms that guide all things. There is a power in stillness that the restless world rarely acknowledges. The mind, when ceaselessly busy, misses the faint currents of energy that ripple beneath the surface of life. The body, when hurried or tense, cannot perceive the gentle signals that guide transformation. Yet those who cultivate stillness discover that these currents are the doorway to mastery, that quiet observation is stronger than any outward action. In the Shaolin tradition, stillness is not mere inactivity. It is a deliberate cultivation of presence, a discipline that aligns breath, posture, and thought. Through stillness, the warrior learns to hear the subtle shifts in the environment, the imperceptible changes in energy that indicate a moment of opportunity. The portal, like life itself, responds not to force but to receptivity. It opens fully for the patient, the attentive, the one who has trained the inner senses to move with clarity rather than impulse. When the mind slows, the edges of perception sharpen. The distractions of fear, desire, and expectation soften, revealing patterns that were invisible before. In that space, insight arises naturally, and action flows with precision rather than struggle. Ancient masters observed that those who rush through life rarely step through thresholds consciously. It is in the calm, measured moments that transformation enters effortlessly. Even a single breath, fully noticed, can shift the alignment of the body and mind. The portal does not demand mastery of all things at once. It asks for presence, attentiveness, and the courage to remain still in the face of uncertainty. In that stillness, the body becomes a mirror of the mind a mirror of the spirit, and the spirit a conduit for the unseen forces that quietly shape destiny. Here the subtle gateway waits, patient, offering passage to those who have learned the art of inner silence. Discipline is the quiet architect of transformation. It is not the loud display of strength, but the steady rhythm of daily practice that shapes body, mind, and spirit. In Shaolin tradition, awakening is not sudden or forced. It emerges gradually, like a river carving its path through stone. Each small action, repeated with intention, builds a foundation strong enough to support profound change. The master observes not the grand gestures but the faithful routines, a morning of mindful breathwork, a moment of meditation before the day begins, a sequence of slow, deliberate movements that unite body and awareness. These practices are simple, yet their power is immense. They train attention, refine energy, and prepare the vessel of the self to receive forces far beyond ordinary perception. The portal waits for those who are prepared, and discipline is the bridge between readiness and opportunity. Every repetition, no matter how modest, reinforces mastery. The mind learns patience, the body learns precision, the spirit learns trust in its own unfolding. A single disciplined day may seem small, but over time these days accumulate, quietly transforming the one who honors them. Ancient masters understood that mastery is not about intensity, but about consistency. The repeated choice to return to practice, to align breath and movement with attention, to cultivate presence even when the world pulls toward distraction. Through this daily devotion, the subtle currents of energy become visible. The body moves in harmony with unseen rhythms, the mind discerns the flow of life, and the spirit aligns with forces that remain hidden to the untrained eye. Discipline is not a burden but a sacred path, a means of opening the self to the portal's energy. By embracing routine with reverence and patience, the door to deeper understanding and awakening swings open, revealing possibilities that cannot be grasped by will alone, but only through steady, faithful practice. The path to mastery is not found in fragments of self, but in the seamless union of mind, body, and spirit. Ancient sages observed that imbalance in one layer of being distorts the perception of the whole. The mind may chase illusions, the body may act with tension, and the spirit may drift unnoticed. But when all are aligned, life unfolds with clarity and power. Integration begins with attention, watching thoughts without attachment, noticing emotions without judgment, sensing the body without forcing it. This awareness is not passive, it is active, listening to the currents that flow within. A Shaolin master trains in this integration daily, moving through exercises that unite posture, breath, and intention. Every motion becomes meditation, every breath a bridge between inner awareness and outer action. When mind, body, and spirit are harmonized, perception sharpens. Subtle energies become tangible, choices appear with clarity, and the doorway of the 888 portal reveals itself naturally. It is here, in the fully present self, that transformation is possible. A fragmented approach scatters energy, blinding the seeker to the patterns of opportunity and the whispers of insight that lie beneath the surface. The ancient perspective teaches that true power is quiet and fluid. It is not the strength of muscle alone, nor the intensity of thought, nor the devotion of spirit in isolation. It is the rhythm created when these elements resonate together, supporting one another like a well-tuned instrument. Integration is a practice of continual refinement. Each moment offers the chance to observe, adjust, and realign. The portal does not respond to haste or force. It opens for those whose inner faculties are synchronized, whose awareness flows through thought, movement, and feeling as one. In this union, the self becomes both vessel and guide, fully prepared to navigate the subtle currents of energy that lead toward awakening and mastery. True freedom begins when the self is no longer tethered to the opinions of others. In the pursuit of awakening, the mind often clings to praise, shuns criticism, and measures worth by external markers. Yet the ancient Shaolin path teaches that these attachments obscure perception, scattering energy and weakening the connection to the deeper currents of life. The 888 portal does not open for those seeking approval. It responds only to those aligned from within. Detachment is not indifference, nor is it cold isolation. It is a conscious release of dependence on validation outside the self. The mind, when untethered, becomes a clear mirror, reflecting truth rather than distortion. The body, when free from tension born of fear or desire, moves with natural ease. The spirit, when unburdened by judgment, expands into its full potential. This alignment creates a resonance that allows subtle energies to flow unhindered, guiding the seeker through thresholds that the unanchored cannot perceive. Shaolin masters have long observed that attachment acts like a shadow, following every action and decision. It slows the practitioner, clouds discernment, and obscures the doorway to transformation. To release it requires courage, discipline, and repeated practice, observing thoughts without surrendering to them, feeling emotions without being swept away, and acting with integrity regardless of acclaim or criticism. When the grip on external approval loosens, the inner self gains clarity and strength. Each step becomes purposeful, each choice deliberate, and each breath a reaffirmation of alignment with one's true path. The 888 portal opens fully, only when the seeker stands firm in their own center, unmoved by praise, untouched by fear, and undistracted by judgment. In that freedom, the self becomes a conduit for subtle energies, a vessel ready to receive the quiet transformative power that waits beyond the threshold. Life is composed not only of grand moments, but of countless subtle choices that ripple outward in ways often unseen. During powerful alignments, such as the 888 portal, these micro-moments take on extraordinary significance. Each thought, each gesture, each fleeting decision carries energy that shapes the path ahead. The ancient masters recognized that destiny is woven in the quiet, ordinary instances as much as in the monumental ones. To perceive these micro-thresholds requires awareness. The mind must be trained to notice the slight impulses, the whisper of intuition, the subtle pull of circumstance. In Shaolin practice, attention is cultivated through repetition and discipline, through mindful movement, focused breath, and observant stillness. Each action becomes a lesson in alignment, teaching the practitioner how small, deliberate choices accumulate into a trajectory of growth. A step taken with clarity, a word spoken with intention, a moment of restraint in the face of impulse. These are the gateways to transformation. The unobservant pass through life, reacting, unaware of how energy is directed, while the mindful navigate the currents with purpose. Even the smallest decisions become instruments of self-mastery, echoing outward and shaping both inner and outer worlds. The ancients understood that true power lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering the self. By recognizing each micro-moment as an opportunity, the practitioner learns to channel energy toward insight, discipline, and evolution. Awareness turns ordinary moments into portals of transformation, and each choice becomes a conscious act of creation. In this space, the 888 portal is more than a date or an event. It is a mirror reflecting the subtle architecture of life. When the self is attentive, when every choice is observed with care, even the smallest decisions align with the rhythm of growth, guiding the seeker toward mastery that is both profound and enduring. Energy moves where it is allowed. When blockages form, it stagnates, clouds perception, and diminishes the flow of life. The 888 portal carries subtle, potent currents that respond to clarity. If the mind is heavy with fear, the heart burdened with old wounds, or the body tense with unacknowledged strain, the opportunity for transformation is muffled. The path through the portal becomes visible only when these obstacles are released, and the self becomes a clear channel. Ancient Shaolin practice emphasizes cleansing as an essential discipline, not a luxury. Mindful breathing, slow and deliberate, draws energy inward, circling through body and mind to stir what has lain dormant. Meditation allows the observer to witness thought and emotion without attachment, identifying the knots of tension and habitual patterns that bind energy. Self-reflection shines light on hidden fears and unresolved conflicts, dissolving their grip through awareness alone. Each of these practices strengthens the subtle faculties, allowing the practitioner to perceive energy as a living force rather than a background hum. The release of blockages is gentle yet profound. Resistance softens when met with patience, and the self learns that letting go is not loss but alignment. The Shaolin masters taught that unspent energy, trapped in regret or clinging, cannot serve growth. Only when it flows freely does it become a tool for conscious evolution. Through daily discipline and cleansing, the body becomes lighter, the mind clearer, and the spirit attuned to rhythms that ordinary perception misses. The 888 portal is not an external event, it is a mirror of internal readiness. Each breath, each reflection, each intentional release prepares the vessel for the subtle currents that await. In clearing what no longer serves, the self steps forward, unencumbered, opening to insights, clarity, and transformation that are otherwise inaccessible. The power of the portal flows to those who have practiced the quiet art of purification, honoring both the discipline of the body and the wisdom of the spirit. The essence of mastery is not found in technique alone, but in the cultivation of virtue, patience, compassion, humility. These are not abstract ideals, they are living forces that shape the energy of the self and the world around it. The Shaolin tradition teaches that when virtues are embodied, they become a conduit for transformation, amplifying the subtle currents that guide growth and awakening. Patience teaches the mind to wait without tension, to observe without rushing, and to recognize that true change unfolds according to its own rhythm. Compassion softens the heart, dissolving barriers between self and others, creating resonance with the greater currents of life. Humility grounds the spirit, dissolving ego's distortions and allowing perception to move beyond self-centered desires. Together, these qualities create a harmony within that aligns the practitioner with higher vibrational states, making subtle energies easier to access and integrate. Living virtue is not passive. It is reflected in each action, each decision, each breath taken with intention. A patient response to difficulty, a compassionate gesture toward another, a humble acceptance of one's own limitations. These moments weave virtue into the fabric of daily life. The portal responds to this inner alignment, not to performance or appearance. The more one practices virtue sincerely, the more the body, mind, and spirit resonate with subtle forces, creating a natural magnetism for insight, opportunity, and transformation. Ancient masters observed that virtue strengthens the vessel as much as discipline and technique. Without it, energy may flow, but it lacks direction and depth. With it, every choice, every breath, every movement becomes an expression of harmony, amplifying the effects of the portal. In embodying virtue, the practitioner does more than prepare for a moment. They cultivate a way of being that carries the wisdom of the ancients into every aspect of life, allowing subtle thresholds of transformation to unfold naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. Every moment carries a current of possibility, but intention is the force that directs it. In the Shaolin path, the mind is not a passive observer of life. It is a tool, precise and deliberate, capable of shaping energy and guiding action. The 888 portal amplifies this principle, responding not to distraction or chance, but to focused, conscious intention. Setting an intention is more than wishing or hoping. It is an act of alignment, a declaration of purpose that resonates through mind, body, and spirit. When the practitioner reflects deeply and chooses with clarity, each thought, each breath, and each movement becomes a signal to the universe. This signal draws opportunity, subtly orchestrating circumstances in harmony with the inner state. The ancients understood that untamed energy flows without direction. Intention gives it form and focus. The power of intention is revealed in the small, consistent choices made over time. A mindful word, a deliberate action, a conscious breath, all reinforce the alignment of the self with higher currents. During the portal, these intentions act like magnets, guiding energy toward growth, insight, and mastery. The body, trained through disciplined practice, carries the intention as naturally as the mind conceives it, and the spirit amplifies it, creating a harmonious field that responds to opportunity. Shaolin masters taught that clarity of purpose transforms ordinary life into a practice of awakening. When intention is set with integrity, aligned with virtue and awareness, it becomes a bridge between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The portal does not grant power randomly. It honors the clarity of the seeker's heart and the precision of the mind. In this way, every choice, every breath, and every moment of focus becomes a step toward mastery, turning the currents of the universe into a flowing path of conscious growth, transformation, and awakening. November 8th, 888 portal is more than a date on the calendar. It is a gentle call to awaken, a reminder that true power lies within. By embracing stillness, cultivating daily discipline, observing the mind, embodying virtue, and making conscious choices, we align ourselves with the subtle currents of the universe. Each of these practices, no matter how small, becomes a thread in the fabric of personal mastery and spiritual growth. The portal invites patience, reflection, and presence. It encourages us to notice the micro moments, release what no longer serves, and set intentions that guide our energy with clarity and purpose. By integrating mind, body, and spirit, we step through this threshold consciously, carrying its transformative energy into every aspect of life. Take these teachings into your daily routine. Allow stillness to guide your decisions. Let discipline strengthen your focus. Cultivate virtue in every interaction, and direct your intentions toward alignment, growth, and awakening. Over time, these small mindful practices open the door to profound inner transformation long after the portal has passed. May this moment serve as a quiet reminder of your own potential, and may the wisdom of the ancients guide you gently along the path of self-mastery. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you wish to continue exploring these teachings and deepening your practice, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire and walk with us into the flow of awareness, clarity, and inner strength.